What's up, Four Locos? The old kind, when it was full of poison. Welcome to Pod Minutes to Cast Night. It's a podcast where we listen to albums that ruin our lives, and we try to be nice about them. You're here with two members of the 2 Minutes to Late Night Writers Room.
Hi, it's me, America's sweetheart, Katie Rose Leon, an award-winning hangover specialist, here to tell you that if you watch anime while lying on the floor and eating a bacon, egg, and cheese, halfway sliding it into your mouth from the floor, it will not help things. Hot tip from me to you.
Thank you, Katie.
You're welcome.
Hey, what's up? This is Drew Kaufman, and I'm not a great musician, but I gotta say, I wish everybody could have seen me air drum to Rush on the way over here in the car. 99% accurate, nailed the triplet in Tom Sawyer. I was really good. Steering with my knee, you know.
Would you say you are Neil Perfect? Neil Perfect?
I would say I'm the Shaquille O'Neal Pert, if that meant anything in the world.
It's almost a pun.
Almost nothing.
And I'm Jordan Olds, and those puns hurt my feelings. Today, it's the day after Jeremy's wedding.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov.
L'chaim.
Somebody married him. Isn't that weird?
And she's great.
She's great. We love Mo.
Yeah.
I don't know about Jeremy. But today we have a special guest filling in for Jeremy this week. Is James Muñoz, right? Is that how you say your last name? I'm sorry.
That was pretty good for a white.
Pretty good for a white.
My favorite Offspring song and yours. But really,
The girlies always say I'm pretty good for a white.
James Isaiah Muñoz. You got it. Muñoz,
right. Yeah.
Muñoz.
James, yeah.
You were
I
afraid
didn't know
to
if there
finish
was...
it.
Well, no, I said Muñoz. I didn't...
This was very quiet because you were afraid if it was
Well,
wrong.
I was like, I forgot if the... You know, it's one of those last... It's got like more than 2 consonants, so I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. I didn't know if there was... I was saying the N as if there was an umlaut. It was a whole thing. But yeah, James Muñoz. I'm fucking it up now.
Moonshoes.
This is
Jimmy Moonshoes.
Muñoz.
Jimmy Munzo.
We're here with
James Munzo from the band the Blodian.
We're here with Jimmy the Bled Canucci. Good to see you. I just wanted to let you know the project you had me work on down in Newark is I took care of it.
All right, everybody, please welcome Jim Monster from Bled.
All right, can we give him a real intro, please? Anybody.
Really into it. Yeah. James from the band The Bled.
Here I am. Hi,
Welcome.
gang. How's everyone
Welcome to
doing
Pod
today?
Minutes. A little hung up. We're pretty raisiny over here because, you know, our punk friend got married, so you know how it goes.
Yeah, it meant that we were twerking to Fergie at 2 a.m.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I didn't know I was going to have to dance in a full-length gown to the fucking madness.
Let's be real. You knew that was going to happen. James, thanks for coming on the pod, man.
Thank you
dude.
for the invite. I'm excited. I didn't know what I was going to get myself into because I know you guys like to mix it up from the, truly awful to the, I guess downright unlistenable is the territory we got in this week. So
Yeah, it's a lot. But before we talk about this, before we just try to figure out what's going on here, did anybody listen to anything they liked this week? James?
I've been listening to the.
Oh no,
we lost James.
We should.
I hope he keeps recording. We're gonna keep recording.
Yeah. Let me try calling him back. Don't stop recording.
Hold on to that time, snip, darling.
Hi.
He's returned.
James is back from Hotel Coral Essex. How was it?
It's just as filthy as I remembered it.
Let's go.
James, did you listen to anything cool this week?
I listened to the Carly Rae Jepsen album for this week and the last 4 weeks, and it's been amazing. It's made my life so much better, guys. And I want to fall in love again and again every time I hear that song.
I heard a rumor that she's a virgin, and that's why all of her love songs are so pure.
Can Scorpios be virgins?
That's an excellent point for someone to get gayer than me needs to answer.
Yeah.
I honestly thought that was a Mortal Kombat reference. I didn't get that.
I was like, Scorpion was born fucking.
Sub-Zero, 100% virgin though.
Yeah, that guy's.
Yeah.
Real
Tight foreskin.
Real ice queen.
Real tight foreskin.
Katie, what did you listen to this week?
I listened to the new album by Joey LaBeija, who I'm pretty sure is from the legendary House of LaBeija, but like, don't quote me on that. It's called Tears in My Hennessy. It's not our audience's usual fare, but I think people who like really heavy electronic with like kind of a dark vibe to it would be really into it. It's somehow a dance album while also being completely spooky and fucked up.
Love it.
Yeah.
The rules. Drew, what'd you listen to?
As resident meathead, I listen to a lot of Sanction.
Woo!
Sanction's dope. They're a hardcore band, and they are the most like 2004 shit you ever heard.
Hell yeah.
But they recorded their album last year, and they're like 20 years old.
The kids are all right.
Dude,
they're loving that 2000s
They
shit.
have their own knife. That's their merch. They have a Sanction knife. They have a sanctioned knife.
I love that.
I think that's pretty dope. Yeah. They're like, you know what's funny? Because they
That's
sound,
cool.
they have like all the like, they have the like August Burns Red drum fills and stuff. So like, you know, when you see like a period piece that takes place in the 60s and it seems more like the 60s than an actual movie shot in the 60s because they're trying so hard.
Right.
That's what I feel like when I listen to that band. They're just like, man, oh man, do I hate President Bush. Here's a breakdown.
I love it. I can't wait to pick up all my quarters to that alone in my bedroom.
Speaking of weird merch, James, did your band ever have like weird merch? Like, did you ever have like the Bled brand blood or whatever?
I think the weirdest thing that we actually had were glow in the dark fingerless gloves. The band name on the knuckles.
Sure.
Well, that way you can see your cigarette that you're lighting in the dark.
Yeah. It makes it easier to grip the wheel of your mother's Jetta. That's crazy. Oh man. Did you guys ever did you guys have booty shorts? That was a big thing for a while.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever did do that. Despite being on the Warped Tour 3 times, we never got those. Got that merch item. But there were some tank tops. There was some a lot of beanies. The hats that with the Beanie Bill hats. I remember that was.
Oh, like a beanie hat that had a bill on it.
And then I would go up to him and be like, "What's up, Skylar? What are you doing? Where are you going?"
If you shout "Hey Seth" at someone wearing one of those hats, they'll turn around even if it isn't their name.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember those.
The only thing that was kind of like a once in a lifetime item was a 8-foot cardboard cutout I made of myself. The cardboard cutout was shirtless, and I was holding a Bob Barker mic, like a really slim Bob Barker mics.
That's
and
so
a
awesome.
show in Salt Lake City, and for the first 4 or 5 songs, my band played while the cardboard cutout was in front of the stage, hiding behind the stage, saying things like, "You guys are looking really stiff out there."
You're like, did you ever have the talking school bus that would come to your school? It was like an animatronic school bus, and it would teach you about like safety on the bus, but it was clearly like there was a guy hiding in the back behind a curtain talking into a microphone. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
No.
You're looking at
No.
me
I don't know.
crazy.
That's
No.
horrifying.
Hey, no, it wasn't. I learned a lot about bus safety, and that's why I didn't jump off a bus until I was in 10th grade.
When you went inside the bus, it's like, you're inside of me now.
No. It was like a little tiny, like Power Wheel sized bus, but it had blinking eyes for headlights, and it would talk to you, and it'd be like, it would know your name. It'd be like, "Hey, Drew, make sure you wear your seatbelt," and you'd be so fucking terrified that you'd never not wear your seatbelt to this day.
That's horrifying.
Upstate
Yeah,
New York,
that's
man,
really
is
creepy.
weird shit.
Before we move on, today is Danzig's birthday.
Ooh.
And there's no, he's just the surrogate father of this show.
Yeah.
So I feel like we gotta like this week. I actually was listening to a lot of Danzig. Do you guys have like a favorite Danzig memory?
Happy birthday, Danzig. I hope you got a lot of texts on your flip phone.
Yeah.
My favorite Danzig memory is how he had that pile of bricks in front of his house for like 2 years because he wanted to piss off the HOA in his neighborhood.
I think it's different. Like, you know, like why I think we forgive Danzig for being like, you know, a ridiculous person is I think the example of like the way that he's weird about stuff.
Right.
It's like how Jack White shit on cell phones and then how Danzig shit on cell phones. Like Jack White is like, I don't have that addiction, and you're like, that's pretentious and I hate you for that. You're just mad because it's like elevating yourself. But Danzig is like, yeah, I don't want to get like tracked to give out my information, and that makes a lot of sense because people put his address on the internet, and then some assholes went and did a sketch in front of his house.
Actually, wait, can I change my Danzig story?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have to ask because I'm going to edit this. I just remember. So like 3 years ago, I was working with this marketing company and doing like video work, and I got to do work for the Danzig Misfits reunion tour.
Yeah.
And so I was on a conference call with Danzig. This is a true story.
awesome.
So I'm on a conference call with Danzig, and the shows are sold out, and we're talking about like what we're going to do with the allotted budget for advertising. And Danzig is just like, I don't understand why we got to do ads. The show's sold out. And my boss is like, well, you already paid for them. They come from the budget. So the best thing to do is to advertise they're sold out. That way, when you do more shows, which you will do, everyone knows that, they're going to be more excited and they'll buy them quicker, and it'll ensure that they always sell out. And Danzig was just like, with all due respect, go fuck yourself, and hangs up the phone. Hung up on the conference call for his own fucking life. And that's the Danzig story that I'm editing in.
That is that's the best. James, are you fond of Danzig? Do you have?
I'm a big fan of Danzig, Misfits, all of the whole thing.
Yeah.
I have a couple random stories, but
do it.
I know everybody knows the Danzig getting knocked out video.
Yeah.
Which
Classic.
happened in Arizona, my home state, and by a guy who was in a Phoenix band. The guy from the Northside Kings knocks out Danzig, right, in Arizona, my home state, and that's all over the place. And I remember we got a tour offer to go do a Europe Danzig tour, but it was like one of those, like, you gotta get your passports and all your shit, and we just never got it together. It was like it was happening in like 2 weeks, and we missed out on that opportunity. But I think one of my favorite Danzig stories is a tour manager that we were on tour with. I think he was tour managing Alexis on Fire or Anti-Flag when we were doing like this weird Canadian tour up there. This guy had toured with Pantera, tour managed all these like metal bands, and he said Danzig would just call him up in the middle of the night and really pissed off, of course, and say things like, "How am I supposed to get some food?"
Oh my god.
Oh, God bless him.
Did you ever find out what Danzig eats? Because I know he eats.
I don't know what, but he's got to eat something.
I saw hoagies. Anytime, anywhere, hoagie.
I've eaten sausages and peppers for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day since 1978.
What do you mean we're touring Canada? When am I supposed to get prosciutto in Canada?
Canadian prosciutto.
But was the Bled asked to tour with Danzig? Was that a thing that was going to happen?
Yeah, it was like right after the album came out, so it was like, you know, we probably put the album out we put the album out in the summertime, and I think like a month had passed, and we kept getting all these like random, really like heavy, really bigger metal band offers, but they were always like opening slots, of course, for 15 minutes, and you know, he'd play with an arena and something. No real like merch areas for you. You could like sell like one item and stuff. And then probably like 7 years later, we took that same opening slot on a Slipknot tour. And we played 15 minutes while the lights on the arena were still on.
Oh.
All the little kids wearing their XXX shirts were still running to the front of the barricade. By the time the arena was halfway full, we played half our set, and we were done and in and out.
Yeah.
That's showbiz, baby.
Yeah.
Woo! Hollywood.
That would have been really. Would Danzig have been like after Found in the Flood? Is that when it was?
No, before, it would be right after Pass the Flag.
Really? Damn. That's like 2004, right? 2003, 2004?
2003, yeah.
So Danzig still is like
alive,
in shape to kill people. Like that's like the last of the I'm afraid of Danzig years before the Danzig loves kitty litter years.
Well, yeah, because he mentioned like he got knocked out, but the North Side Kings guy, and that's when Danzig went from like, this guy's gonna be Wolverine in an X-Men movie to this guy's got kitty litter all the time. Ooh, he's a little cat boy.
Yeah, it's like watching a god get killed.
How the gods get knocked out by the fucking North Side Kings. Oh my god.
Fuck, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That would have been a really insane tour.
That would have been really fun. I've only seen your band one time, but I liked I loved Pass the Flask because it came out when I was like 15 years old, and it was awesome. It was really I had missed just bands that all of my friends would like that were actually like really aggressive. So it was really refreshing to hear you guys. But I only saw you one time, and this is my favorite live concert experience ever. It's the hardest I've ever laughed in a concert venue. I don't know if this is just the weirdest sequence of events I've ever seen. It was a show. I'm from Denver, Colorado. It was at the Gothic Theater, and it was like You Guys, Every Time I Die, and From First to Last. And you guys are playing, and in between each song, you keep talking about Taco Bell. Every single.
Damn it.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't know what you're talking about, but I like where this is going. This is one of those classic idiotic James moments that embarrass the entire band. But yeah, keep going.
No, this is my. I mean, maybe, but this has stuck with me my entire life. So, what's happening? What happens is you're playing a song, and like a kid gets really excited and jumps on stage, and this is like he's a really like clearly socially awkward kid that just like went like, oh shit, oh no, I got on stage. And you go and you put the mic in this kid's mouth, and he just freezes in the song and just goes, ah! Like just makes like a ah! Into the like a Pee Wee Herman noise. Then you go and just like fall back into the audience and are just like screaming with the audience, and this kid starts to climb to the second balcony. There's like it's like up a speaker, and he's on the second level of the venue. You are just screaming in the audience. This kid is just up there, and you didn't even take a breath. You were just going like, blah, blah, blah. Hey, look at that guy. You pointed up to this kid, who then proceeded to jump. No one caught him. He hit the floor. He hit the fucking floor. And when he hit the floor, your mic went out.
Oh my god.
And this is in it's Every Time I Die From First to Last. I think it's the year is like 2008. So someone had just died. Someone famous had just died. This kid hits the floor. Your mic goes out. You then go to grab your guitarist mic. You hold up the mic that had just went out, and you said, "This microphone is deader than Heath Ledger." The audience goes, boo. I screamed. I was screaming for 20 minutes. I thought it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yours just Taco Bell, the kid, climbs up. Hey, look at that guy. Bam. This microphone's deader than Heath Ledger. Funniest thing I've ever seen at a show in my entire life.
Wow. I'm glad I could, add that to your memories, your fond memories.
Yeah.
What a repertoire.
I got the shit kicked out of me at a Bled show. And I do it again too. I love you guys.
All right.
So I just needed
I would just do it again because that meant I was thin enough to get picked up and thrown into a wall. Now I'm too fat for that shit.
This week we listened to the compilation album from 2009? 2008, Punk Goes Crunk.
The 375th entry of the Punk Goes category.
Yes.
They had such famous ones as Punk Goes Acoustic, Punk Goes Polka, and Punk Goes Punk, which was really meta.
All right, so first off, I thought this by song choice and also band choice. None of these bands are punk. None of these songs are crunk.
Nope.
No.
Yep. So that's off the bat. That's what's going on. James, what did you think of this album?
Well, it was kind of an emotional roller coaster for me. There was, I was familiar with crunk. You know, when you think of crunk, you think of
Dirty
I don't know,
South.
Southern, Hot Atlanta comes to mind. Things like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the Southern rappers. I mean, just in a general pedestrian, way, you would probably think about Outkast. And I believe there is an Outkast song. I don't know, man. I was really surprised by the direction a lot of these guys took these crunk songs, these crunk classics into.
Well, that's the thing.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, most of these songs are uncrunkable. I'm very surprised that they tried.
I hate to cut an SCU promo on this show.
Go for it.
But this was the worst album I have ever listened to on this show.
Yeah.
Hands down. And it's not because of the musicalities. I think some of the bands are fine. But there's two things at play here. The concept, I hate to get preachy, but the concept in its base is just straight up racist.
Yep.
It's just straight up racist because they're not taking music made by people of color seriously. They're making it a joke. There's two N-bomb jokes in the first two fucking songs in this album. It's just not great.
Yeah, no, it's very bad. I mean, the thing is that the reason why this album is so bad, first off, I want to mention that when this album came out, I loved it. I'm dumb.
What? You loved it?
Okay, let's go back in time to 2008.
Oh my god! All right, well, hold on. Let's. Did anybody hear this album when it first came out?
No.
I did not. No, I was familiar with a lot of some of the bands, and I had no idea that my tour mates even wanted to go crunk, let alone went crunk on a recording before.
Who have you toured with from this album?
I think there was Emmanuel. Weren't they on there?
Yes.
Yeah.
I had never heard. Most of these bands I have never heard of. To be
Say
dead
Anything.
honest.
We did a tour with them.
I'm so sorry.
Oh man, the only tour that I ever faked an injury to get out of, actually.
Really?
Yeah, we had to play. We had like one last show in Portland, Maine, or some shit, and we had to drive all the way back to Arizona after it. It was like from Philly to Portland, Maine, and then back to Arizona. And we were like, let's just say that James lost his voice, and yeah, that happened.
Shit.
Wow, it was that bad?
It was rough, man. You would think the Say Anything fans would have embraced our heavy style.
Fucking Say Anything fans. Can I say what a horrible group of folks that is. Like, I love that band. Well, okay, I liked that band when I was a kid because I had friends that liked that band.
Yeah.
But as a lady, it's not super great listening to music all about how you're like the worst piece of shit on the planet.
No, but sometimes
24/7.
the singer will call you on the phone and you'll touch yourself.
Yeah, and
That's
then he'll
the
laugh
entire
at you.
lyrics to this song. Yeah, that's terrible. That's
It's
a fucking
not
terrible
great. It's not a great time. I I do know some of these bands. I didn't listen to it a lot, but I mean, I love a cover. I think covers are so fucking fun. And I did like the silly fad in the 2000s of like hardcore bands doing covers of like pop music and stuff like that. I thought that was really fun. Every band on the face of the planet did a cover of Toxic by Britney Spears.
Yes, I remember that.
That was
happened.
awesome. I thought that was so fun. What bothers me about this is, first of all, there's only one song on here that is technically crunk. And that just shows you how little anyone is considering like hip hop as a genre in this.
It's a lot like when your mom thinks you're listening to death metal when you're actually just listening to like
The Bled.
Yeah. My mom knows the Bled.
Yeah,
my mom tore some shit up in the pit, dude. Susan Kaufman.
Susan. Susan was picking up change and her car
Susan
keys.
Kaufman
It was
like-
awesome.
She was like, "Let's hear Daylight Bombings. It's got the best breakdown."
Susan
Drew, I made you tilapia.
Susan Kaufman broke my nose with a windmill in 2004.
I stole my girlfriend's jeans, and then my mom stole them from me.
Yeah.
Hey, is your mom available to record an album called Moms Go Mosh? Can we do that?
Yes.
Yeah, she'd be down for that.
That would be so
okay, wait.
cool.
I want to talk about how I did like this album because I think that's important. Because
Yeah.
I don't like it anymore, but before we get there, James, of course, you were in a band that played during this time. Were you approached ever to do any of these like Punk Goes Klezmer albums?
I want to say, yeah. I want to say it was probably just like floating around, and anybody who wanted to do it could just reply yes to an email. Like, I think it was just as easy as that, like at the time, because I remember there were so many of these fucking albums, right? Like at least once a year it seems like they came out. I don't think it was much like a direct approach. Like, I don't think anyone was like, we need you guys to come and ruin this Dr. Dre song or whatever. It was more like, if you guys are free during this time, you can go into a studio and record something for this compilation album, and it'll be on, the Punk Goes whatever album, with very little interference from any outside source saying what you can or cannot do. So,
Damn, that's crazy to think
That is
about.
so crazy. Is that how the Tony Hawk album? I know that you guys did a Bad Brains cover for the Tony Hawk album.
that was like the similar thing. It was like, here's a batch of songs. Who wants to do what? You guys are all on Vagrant Records. We're going to try to make most of the bands that appear on this on the soundtrack from that label. So I think it was more like a batch, like a deal. Like, hey, we got 15 songs. Can 15 of your bands do these covers? And that was really all it was. I remember we recorded that Bad Brain song in like 3 hours.
Dude, that cover whips
Kansas.
ass, by the way.
That's really good.
We were listening to it before we started because
you brought it up.
yeah,
and I was
Katie
like,
hadn't
"That's
heard
really
it
good."
before. It's fucking awesome. I love that cover.
I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It was cool because we didn't have like any choices left really, but I think we all really liked the Bad Brains, as fans. So we were stoked that was like one of the only songs that no one wanted to do, or no one had done.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, what crunk song would the Bled have covered?
Oh god damn, none of them.
Good answer.
It's just weird to do it in a metal style or like a totally different style, but then it's also even more weird to try to do it exactly like they did it.
I remember at the time period. I remember there was because the Britney Spears Toxic thing was happening. Everybody was covering like pop songs in a punk or aggressive style. I remember what led to this, it seemed, was I remember a million bands were covering Lollipop by Lil Wayne.
Right. Yeah.
I remember that
man.
kept happening, and then bands started using auto-tune.
I believe Lollipop was wasn't that 50 Cent?
No,
Lil Wayne.
Candy Shop is 50
Oh,
Cent.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Sorry.
Lollipop
Yes.
is Lil Wayne, and because
Sorry,
Lil
I got
Wayne,
my candies confused.
No,
it's
that's
totally
okay.
fine. I mix it
50
all up.
Cent owns the store. Lil Wayne is a vendor.
Right, yes, of
Yeah.
course.
But I remember just after that, just all of these bands started you like using intense auto tune on their voices as like as like an ironic thing, and then it became not an ironic thing, and they were like trying to really make it work. Like this is just and then the joke got completely out of hand, and now we have Punk Goes Crunk.
Yeah, well that's so 2008, you got to go back 11 years, right? And 11 years ago things were a little different because I think the scene was really dumb. Like a lot of people were really dumb. So when this album came out, I was either 19 or 20. I just had my like hip hop year, you know, where I was like listening to a lot of Wu-Tang Clan. I'm not proud of this. This is just a part of my life that made me. But you have to remember, like, this album is kind of like that same time where people thought that if you had a mustache, it was an ironic mustache. You couldn't have a mustache because you look good. You had it because it's funny that you had a mustache.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of that sort of thing. Like, you know, if you dressed a certain way, if you did a certain thing, it was done with irony. And a lot of times it really was. And so I like this album because I thought it was funny, because it was the music I was listening to done in what I thought was a funny way. And now as an adult, and you know, there's a lot of things that I don't like, and I figured that the central like currency of music that I don't enjoy is ironic music. Right. Like I think if you do a cover, you got to commit the fuck out of it. That's why I love the House of Suffering cover that you guys did, because you guys fucking nailed it. You brought your own style, but you also, you know, you paid homage to what it was. All of this stuff is done with hey, wouldn't it be funny if we did this?
I think,
and I hate that.
Yeah, and I think there's one or two tracks on here that really do genuinely a great job of doing it. But the ones that I hate the most are the one that's like, it's funny because I'm like a skinny white guy and I'm kind of like doing a rap. I'm doing a rap right now. It's just like, it makes me just nauseous.
Yeah.
The actual Say Anything cover, I've never wanted to fight anybody over a song.
Well, wait. So Say Anything's number 2. So we're definitely going to talk about it. Well, let's start off with Put Your Hood Up by Set Your Goals, also known as that band that made a career out of having best friends.
Okay.
I remember that band because I was like 16 and just discovering older hardcore.
Right.
Like gray hoodie hardcore, which is different than like 2005 hardcore.
Yeah, you're finding your family.
I was finding my family.
You're getting your family.
I loved it. I was like,
chains out, boys. Find your family.
Yeah. I loved it. I was starting to love hardcore that was like, look, a skinny guy in a big t-shirt wearing glasses, but he's tough.
And Set Your Goals is like, what if your family liked water slides?
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, all of my like pop punk friends were like, they're like a hardcore band. They're like pretty cool, and I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, so this album starts off with someone rapping with the Yoda voice so that they could, instead of saying the N-word, say Jedi.
Yes, I lost my goddamn mind. My roommate walked in because they thought I had injured myself. I was just like, no. And they're like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm not sure.
Maybe not. James, what did you think of this song?
The Set Your Goals song, I thought it was, God damn. I think I was just kind of bombarded with the, I guess initially just like the production of it all, you know? I was like, wow, they kind of, you know, I don't even, what genre, it's not like metal, they kind of metaled it up a little bit, I think, from what I remember, but
also not really. At the same, it felt like getting robbed by an honest trailer. You know what I mean? It was like Star Wars reference. It was just so much.
It was very MySpace. It was like very glossy, overproduced, but also, there was a Yoda voice, which made me insane. I don't like that. And then at the end of the song, at some point, there's a like, where'd you find this voice? But it's like African American.
Oh yeah,
that was so bad. Ooh.
I'm not into this. And just I think just cultural myths aside, it's just the song. I agree, is all over the place. Like, what are they even doing? They didn't fully commit to doing covering a song in a different genre, and they didn't fully commit to making a hip hop song. They just couldn't decide between either.
Yeah, but I can tell you from like the dumb 2008 boy perspective that I liked the gang vocals of "Put Your Hood Up" because at the time I was wearing a hood.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that should have been done, I agree with Katie. It should have been, you go all in. Give me a chugging.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give me stupid chugs.
Yeah.
Do whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think I could have maybe got behind it, but also like if you are covering a song and there's a word in that song you feel uncomfortable saying out loud, then just don't cover the song.
cover that song.
Just
Don't
do
make
a
this
different
album.
fucking song. Like, just God damn it, shit.
All right, song 2.
Song 2. I
I
got
think
your
we
money
can say
by
that
saying-
about every track almost, right?
Yeah.
That's just, we will say that about pretty much every song should not have been done, but let's move on.
Moving on to the song that should have been done. Okay.
This should not have happened. This upset me.
Yeah.
I was so angry, and I mean, James has a personal experience with Max Bemis. I knew of him a little bit because he used to come into my comic book shop in LA all the time,
Yeah.
and he would just show up in like a little striped shirt, and his head and his neck and shoulders kind of all like do a Pokemon evolution into each other.
Right. He looks
And-
like a Thwomp from Super Mario 64.
Yeah, he looks like one of the thumb henchmen from Spy Kids, but really tiny.
Yeah.
And since I could visually picture that guy doing the song, I was like, I can't believe I want to fight somebody over a song, but I
Yeah.
wanted to fight him,
It's bad.
and it upset me.
I
wanted to fight.
The thing about this that's really bad is so right after this song came out, Say Anything put out there, I've been learning a lot about who I am as a person album, which was a double album called In Defense of the Genre,
Woo,
which
I
was
remember that.
a very, very bad album when it came out. But I forgot, someone reminded me that there is a song on there where Max Bemis insults black people by saying, my people, the Jews, were slaves first. That is an actual lyric in his song. So that's the guy that covered Old Dirty Bastard. Katie is just boiled over.
Yeah,
I got a lot of thoughts and feels. I
Yeah.
already have complicated.
James, what do you think about this?
I think 2008 was a wild year, guys.
It was a wild year.
That's to be fair. I have an ongoing life bit, a joke with myself, and you can ask Jeremy this, is that I died in 2007.
Yeah.
And I really feel about that in this album.
Katie is deader than Heath Ledger.
I'm dead as shit. I feel like out of all these two, this is the most like doing a winky at the camera.
Yeah.
Out of because I feel like some people actually really did go all in on this album, and even though like conceptually I'm not down with
Misguided,
it,
yeah.
I think there is some stuff that if I had zero context for, I could be like, oh yeah, it's like a good song. But like this one, I think is the highest example of just being like phoning it in, being a dick, not respecting the genre, not respecting the people making the music, not respecting I don't know. It just really
this was
fucking pissed me
this
off.
was an event. I think it was because his delivery of everything was like I think it was like he wanted to do. He picked Old Dirty Bastard because he's so infamous, and like it would be cool.
Wouldn't it be funny if I sung this song like Ryan Reynolds?
He does sing it exactly like Ryan Reynolds, like doing social media ads.
Yeah.
It's also you could tell he didn't give a shit. Like there's ways to do a song. You can't do this song and like I don't think and ironically make it funny because that's not how this works. But his delivery of everything was really awful. Mm-hmm. Him singing in the falsetto voice in the chorus was awful.
Yeah.
And just also, he delivered every line because he was like, I know it's gonna be weird that I'm saying all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just made it worse.
Yeah, just do a different song, man.
Yeah,
just
do this
do a
song.
different song.
Yeah. That's kind of the whole album.
The whole album is that. Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly, there is a part of me that like, after hearing like how James said that this probably was just like an email chain, that went horribly awry. I'm kind of sad that this album got made because I think like at least a few people on this album probably regret doing it for $400. Like they probably needed the money at the time, or maybe they'd seen a few too many sick animation cartoons.
Yeah, this is.
I also can see how these albums probably were good promotional tools for bands that maybe weren't as well known.
That's true.
Like, I think a lot of kids probably bought these albums, like, because I remember buying like compilations all the time, like in internet kind of times. Like I had all those like Kung Fu record samplers and crap like that. Victory had one too.
And in defense of Punk Goes Down the Toilet, they never did another Punk Goes Crunk. They did plenty of Punk Goes Acoustic and Punk Goes 80s and Punk Goes whatever, but they never did another one of these albums. I think they might have learned a lesson, but I'm only hoping so.
I think there's probably was some backlash, like even though it obviously still got released. I think there was a couple people that were probably pissed off about this, but I just think like at the time 10 years ago, it kind of got lost.
Yeah, I mean, this is 10 years ago, so we're doing like this album is the equivalent of just reading someone's old tweets.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah.
The difference is though is that like I was hoping that this album got lost, but I remember this very vividly. And in the comments, people were like, "I really love that Devil Wears Prada song because it's the only song me and my wife can agree to listen to." And I'm like, you guys should get a fucking divorce. That's terrible. You should have more in common than a bad song.
I think, you know what else I just remember that everyone was doing? I remember that everyone covered Soulja Boy.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, because like Soulja Boy when he came out was kind of an oddity, right? Because they're like, oh, it's funny because he sounds like he's asleep. And I think that's really what it was. Also, there was a dance involved, and I think there was a lot of irony-based dancing and stuff like that. Because you guys remember that Taking Back Sunny had Flavor Flav in their music video?
Yes, I do remember
This
that.
is just like the height of like that kind of shit, and like some of it is just like harmless dumbassery, but I think and like it was a different time period, but like I can look back now and be like,
Yeah, I think there's
it's
some
not
real,
so great.
Sorry, I think there's some real egregious stuff that we can talk on here.
Yeah, go
Yeah,
for
let's
it.
just keep going down the list.
Yeah, so does anybody have anything they want to say about I Wish by The Secret Handshake?
I've never even heard that song.
I have heard the song. So this is a really good example of that. This album's misnamed because I Wish by Skilo is like a 90s classic hip-hop song. It's not crunk by any form or measure, but it's a really goofy song, and I actually think that's a song that does warrant for covering. There's like it's always been like kind of a silly song, and I think the way that they handle it just like made it into a straight up electronic dance song was a smart way of handling it. And it's not great, but it's not terrible, and this is like one of the songs that I'm just like, that's fine. That's like more of what they should have done.
Yeah. What did you think, James?
It was kind of like they just sampled. I feel like they just sampled the chorus and just kept repeating it. Like, I feel like it wasn't like some white guy trying to rap because he probably can't rap. So instead of forcing it, or instead of doing like a goofball talk rap thing that the track before it did, they were just kind of like, hey, let's take the hook. Let's take the hook and just make it like an electronic dance song. That's what I remember from that song. I don't even remember if they did any of the real verses of that song, but
yeah, they just did the most known part.
Yeah.
It's a pretty forgettable song, which I think on this album is a good thing.
Yeah.
You might have saved
If I
them.
forgot about you, great.
Congratulations, you got a pardon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next is
Men in Black, Forever the
Okay.
Sickest Kids.
coming to the Pure Volume stage at Bamboozle Fest. Forever the Sickest Kids.
There was no
my
Pure
first-
Volume stage at Bamboozle. I was there. And I saw him. It's a good set.
I've never been to a Bamboozle. I don't know. I just picture it's. I think it's like Warped Tour, but there's a circus tent.
More or less,
accurate.
actually.
Was that at Giant Stadium? Is
That was
the
at
one?
Giant Stadium, yeah.
Giant Stadium parking lot. That's basically what it was. Warped Tour in one day, or in a weekend. I guess it turned. Would it turn into a 2-day thing or no?
It became a 2-day thing over time, but it was just in New Jersey.
Yeah, the 2006 one was one day, and I remember that Chiodos played 2 sets. They played one under the name Fluff My Boner, and everybody was like, "What the hell is Fluff My Boner?" So no one went to see it. There was like 4 people. It was awesome.
Anyway,
This
Jordan.
time period just makes me so sad, you guys. I just what was happening. Either way, it's weird that they did Men in Black and not Forget Me Nots. It's just weird.
Yeah.
James, what did you think of Men in Black 2?
I honestly laughed super hard anytime I hear a guy singing that high, because that chorus
Yeah.
that just kicks in right at the beginning. I was like, oh my god! And then I had like flashbacks of touring with bands that would cover Gangsta's Paradise, who I'm not going to name.
That's that's the thing. That's all right. Can we skip and talk about Still Fly since we're talking about the high vocal? The most infamous song on this record, as I remember, because people had strong opinions about Devil Wears Prada doing Still Fly. That's the most. That's how I heard about this compilation.
Really? Because I don't remember anything about this. Please
Of course
enlighten
not.
me.
I just I knew that Devil Wears Prada were I just heard about them a lot because also the movie had come out and they were I couldn't figure out if they were named after the book or the movie. But I remember having like folks adjacent to my friend group that like liked them, and they're like, "Why don't you like this band?" And it was like, it's your sommelier reference, like just because something has like a scream in it, does not mean that I'm gonna like it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Right.
I think this type of vocal, I don't know, where did this come from, James? Do you remember how this, like, people singing like this happened?
I mean, it was okay. It was probably what, 2007, 2000, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when this album came out. But I remember just bands started having just a guy who sang really like squeaky and high, and I just don't know where that came from.
I want to say it came from like actually earlier. I'm going to say the seeds were planted in 2003 with the band Seosin and Anthony Green.
Oh my God, you're right.
They're
That
all
makes
kind of
sense.
like they're all kind of like a spooky Seosin, because like all these bands that sing like that, they all are also
Yeah,
they put on like they try to make themselves look like sugar skulls,
Yeah.
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 that makes a lot of sense.
Under eye.
But then there was always like a crazy, like almost like death metal, like high pitched scream in these bands also, right?
Yeah.
There was always like 3 singers, right? Or
Yeah, they got everybody.
Yeah.
like the brutal guy, the really brutal Cookie Monster guy, the high pitched death metal guy, and then the Anthony guy. And then that was like every band for 5 years.
Anthony Green, because everybody, Seosin was a weird anomaly because they only put out 5 songs, and everyone in that scene loved them, even to the point where they got a new guy. They recorded like 3 albums with him, like full albums.
Yeah.
And I remember like at a Riot Fest or something, they were like, Anthony Green is reuniting with Seosin. I was like, for the 4 songs?
Yeah.
What?
They're like the Arrested Development of hardcore.
Yeah.
They got the Netflix songs.
I mean, it was only, I could be getting this wrong. He only had like an EP with that band,
He had an EP
right?
and then he left. Yeah.
He had the EP, and then he left. It was kind of like doing, I guess, Circus Survive immediately after that. And I remember all this happening in that same like 1 year period, because we did a tour with them, and the guitar player for that band actually recorded Pass the Flask.
Shit. Which in Circus Survive or Seosin?
Seosin.
Oh, okay, cool.
yeah, we recorded that album in his parents' garage, and
Did he try to get
Anthony-
you to do 4 songs, and you were like, maybe we should do a few more?
I remember. I remember Anthony was asleep in the vocal booth because he just was some random dude from Philadelphia who was living in Newport Beach now, and going to sing for this band. And then they put out that EP, and then everyone went fucking batshit over it. And yeah, we did one little tour with them, and that was it. And then they, I think they were like constantly recording a major label album, and that took forever. And then by the time that even came out, they had a different singer.
Yeah, that was the weird.
Yeah.
This has got it. The Anthony Green Seosin thing is just a very small scale version of Danzig and the Misfits.
Sure.
Because like Danzig, like I completely understand why like Danzig didn't do a Misfits reunion until like a couple of years ago when people were like, there are billions of dollars to be made. Because in his head, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
Like, in his head, he's like, that's my high school band. I played electric piano in it. Why do you want me to do this?
Yeah. I get why Seosin got huge, though, because they were kind of the first of the, like, they weren't super aggressive screamy. Like, I can't really remember any really high-pitched stuff before that, except for maybe, like, Ink and Dagger. So, like, I think that was why a lot of people leaned towards that, especially because when that album came out, I think a lot of people that I know, they had their voices hadn't dropped yet, and they're like, I can sing like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe I just had. I remember trying to like make myself like that style of vocal when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Trying to get into it because all of my friends really liked it, and I liked more metal-y stuff, but I was like, I gotta fit in. I gotta like this thing. I think I also might have just been mad because my voice sounds like this.
Yeah, you were born sounding like Optimus Prime, so you can't do anything about it.
I talk and it sounds like a sword fight. There's nothing I can do.
Yeah,
but yeah, I don't know. I heard this voice on this album so much, and I was so curious about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's really where it comes from. It's the Anthony Green voice.
This has been Hardcore Anthropology with Jordan and James. 29 scene.
29 scene.
I'll
yeah.
write it. I don't want to do those anymore. Should we? I feel like we could skip ahead. I want to talk about Notorious Thugs, but does anybody have any songs before then they want to talk about?
Yeah, I think we got to talk about.
I Want to Love You by The Maine. I thought they did a good job of just writing a song in their genre of a cover. I think it probably helps that that's a ballad.
Yeah.
I have never heard of Maine. Have you heard of Maine, James?
I think it was like one of those right after my time bands, and it was also like a band that we probably would never be able to tour with, but at the time I knew they were happening. It was I guess probably they probably were more popular on the later half of the 2000s, but I also did like this cover because they kind of just took the lyrics and it didn't feel cheesy. It kind of felt like, I don't know, it reminded me of
yeah, the melody is completely different from the original song.
It's the only one that I felt like, yeah, I agree with James that they actually, you like believe them singing the song as opposed to them. They're like, I'm doing a funny cover. Like, it clearly it's not the type of lyrics they would generally write, but it still felt like there was some sort of emotion behind the words.
Totally. I still hated it. Hi, Drew. What do you think?
I know. I mean,
It's fine.
This is the worst album you guys ever made me
Truly,
listen.
a lot of this stuff is a blur, and like as I was listening to it, I wrote bits, and then like my PTSD kicked in, and I started suppressing these memories, and my jokes are down real low with most of 2008.
Oh, the next one is the Roots cover, right?
Yeah, The Seed, which is the horniest song the Roots ever did,
and
it's a real horny song.
It's about gardening.
Yeah.
No, it drove me nuts listening to this cover because they didn't do the guitar riff right.
Yeah.
The guitar riff
yeah.
is wrong.
That's
what
true.
the fuck?
Also, for some reason, I didn't realize how horny the song was until white emo guy sang it.
Yeah.
Like, for whatever reason, because what's the guy's name? The real guy? Cody Chestnut?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's such a good, smooth singer that I was like, there's no way this guy's singing about, impregnating some other woman, and getting away with it because, he wants to keep his legacy on. I just it's something that for some reason, it stood out and was more upsetting in this cover version.
Yeah.
Or,
I
it
think
seemed
it's
more.
I think it could be just like because the Roots guy is so confident about it, but when you're picturing just like somebody who works at GameStop singing it, you're like, "What are you? No, don't do that."
Yeah. It's what's funny is that like this album is a logical progression of like hardcore because this is still in that period where I don't listen to lyrics because every band before this that I liked, I couldn't understand a lyric to listen to in the first place. So even though they're speaking full English, like it took 12 years for it to process that this song is about getting someone pregnant.
But James, is the guitar riff is wrong?
It's like they
right?
played. It's like they added the seventh or something at the wrong point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the guy put his pinky down earlier than instead of on the upstroke or something. It's like backwards.
Yeah.
Or like they looked up a bad tablature on guitar tabs and then
ultimate guitar.
they were like, we only have 1 day to get crunk. We need to record this right now.
Do you got? Yeah, you know what? It was one of those things because guitar players from just like Warped Tour area, you don't really learn how to play any other type of music, right?
Yeah.
So like playing like a jazzy song like that with like a minor like note in it, they don't know what they're doing, so they're like, I guess that's it. It's like when someone is trying to play Kiss by Prince and they're just they're just barring the whole guitar.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to play the Roots on like an ESP. Umbrella?
Whatever.
Standard cover. That's
honestly favorite cover on the on the compilation because it sounded like the original. They made all the pieces of punk stuff work for it. Like when they're doing the stops on the Umbrella A, I'm like, sure.
I'm pretty
works
sure
the
that
most.
they did that before this album. I think that All Time Low had recorded that cover because that was like a big thing was like, your Rihanna's, your Kelly Clarkson's, like you cover like a female pop star. I think they had already recorded this and then they just sort of,
mailed it in.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like how in college I submitted the film I made the previous year for my thesis.
It's kind of like how in college I used an essay I wrote in high school, but I forgot to change the date, so I failed the class, and then ultimately had to drop out of art school because I lost my scholarship.
Oh my God, Drew! I didn't know the details.
Hey, must be the money. I can't say that.
What did you think of this, James?
I don't know. Wasn't it just like very pop punky, or was it like?
Yeah, standard. It was. I think it was. Nothing was offensive to me.
Was there even any rapping? Did they do the Jay-Z part?
No.
I don't think that's in the original. I think that's in the remix, which came out like a year later, so it could be another single.
Well, they kept it real, I guess.
Yeah.
They kept it very real. I also have never heard of All Time Low. Did you? Is that how you know?
Oh yeah, they were around.
They're one of the bigger bands of the not good bands. Like how there's a lot of bands that a lot of people like but aren't good in the hardcore scene. Like
Panic at the Disco.
Well, no, because Panic at the Disco isn't really hardcore. I'm thinking more like, how everybody likes Gojira, but they suck.
I mean, they're fine.
Yeah. So is All Time Low.
Okay.
Yeah. Gojira, if you're listening.
What do you think about Gojira, James?
I don't know what that is. What is that?
Gojira? They're like a very famous metal band right now. You kind of look like one of the brothers just because you have shaggy hair and a beard.
Gojira is like they're like the French All Time Low. I can't think of another.
This is not
helpful.
Does anyone else?
I don't know.
They sound like Behemoth, but all their songs are about whales.
Okay, so they're like heavy.
Yeah, they're
not
like really
yeah.
heavy. Gojira is
Okay.
very
Okay,
heavy.
All Time Low is kind of like one of those Beartooth bands. You know, you ever listen to Beartooth? They're fine.
No.
They open for every band. They're fine. I don't know. I made fun of Beartooth. Someone's gonna mail me a fucking bomb, but whatever.
Okay.
Next song. So Scary Kids Scaring Kids cover Notorious Thugs by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Great song. I had to look it up because I didn't think that there was. There was no black person in Scary Kids Scaring Kids. They got someone to do the song with them so they could drop N-bombs. And I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do or if that's tokenism.
It's tokenism, Drew.
Yeah.
What? Who did do the rapping on it?
I couldn't find out. No one is like viciously editing the Wikipedia for this album. This is a relic of a long forgotten period.
So they had a ghost rapper on this album
Basically.
just for all the hard R's or the I guess
Hard A's.
hard A's and isn't there like 7 people in this band?
Yeah. Well, you had all the scary kids and then the kids that were getting scared by the scary kids.
I tried to look up who did do the rapping on this, and all I found out was the singer of this band died. Yeah.
Oh no. Well,
You want to hear a creepy connection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Of course I want to hear that.
please.
Should I turn the lights off again?
Yeah, make it spooky.
Seosin's replacement singer became the lead singer of this band when that guy quit. And then my guitar player for the Bled tried to start a band with the dead guy.
After he died?
Oh my god.
That would be
I'm just saying that'd be
so cool.
fucking metal.
That'd be fucking sick.
yeah. He heard this song and said, "Oh, I got to get that guy on an album."
Oh wait, that guy
7 degrees to hardcore.
he heard that song and was like, oh, one guy's dead and the other guy was just brought in to do this song.
Yeah.
So they can N-bomb. Oh fuck.
You know what's cool? Actually, I think I've talked about this once before, but there's a Dillinger Escape Plan cover of "Bring the Noise" by Public Enemy, and they got Chuck D to do it, and that's fucking awesome.
That's
cool
how
as
you
hell.
do it.
Yeah, no one has ever done that before, and will ever do that again. I think, other than maybe like "Walk This Way." Well, no, because that was that a song before Aerosmith jumped in?
I'm
No,
pretty sure that
it's
was a
Aerosmith's
collaboration.
No,
song,
it's- yeah.
and then
Right,
Run
right.
DMC did the remix later.
But I mean I think that's really cool, and I don't think anything like that will ever happen again, where someone comes in and covers their own song with a band that plays screamy music.
Do you think? I guess like that just leads to the question: do you think that there is an acceptable way for just a hardcore band that's full of white people to do a hip hop song? Does a cover of a hip hop song by a hardcore band exist that doesn't
I think
make you want to hurt yourself?
I may not like it, but I think if it's done with true sincerity and they pick a song where they don't have to change the words and stuff like that, then I think, maybe there's something there. I think my problem with this album is there's so much just like it's dripping with like smirking. You know what I
Right,
mean?
Remember who's the band that did Baby Got Back? Throwdown.
Throwdown did that.
The Throwdown Baby Got Back. Like, what do you? I haven't heard him forever, but I remember that was the first like hardcore band in the 2000s doing sort of a hip hop song that kind of blew up. Do you remember this, James?
I remember it happening. That was probably even before us. Maybe it was definitely early 2000s.
Yeah,
it was like 2001.
The
the planes were flying in.
yeah, they were like flying the plane in, and they were like, "Ooh, this is a really good cover. Maybe we shouldn't do this." Smash
Oh my god!
at the last second.
And then Fred Durst was flagging them in.
Yeah. You know what it is? I don't think it's a hardcore thing specifically. I think it's a lot like karaoke. Like if you do a hip hop song at karaoke and you're white, it's really embarrassing. You shouldn't do it. If you say the N-bombs, you're the fucking worst. You shouldn't do it. If you do it, you ignore it. You don't say Jedi. You don't do anything else. But in the reality is you just shouldn't have done it. But I think as far as covers go, if you do a cover sincerely and it doesn't have that type of content in it that you're skirting around, then you can do the cover well. Because like my favorite song on here, to skip ahead for a second, my favorite song on here is Nothing But a G Thing, the cover by the Escape Frame, because it's just a fun little poppy cover and they committed to it and they didn't change their style and they sing it well. And it just so happens to be one of the singles from the Dr. Dre album, and so it has it doesn't have any
it's the
cuss
clean
words
version.
in it. It's a clean song, so it's okay. They didn't have to jump around any hurdles to make it work in their own style, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I remembered it. So
it's a fun one. I don't know. I like that one. I've listened to it twice since then.
I didn't remember that happened. James, do you remember this?
The Nothing But a G Thing cover? Yeah. I don't think so.
It was a very twee one. It sounds like it's like an AV Undercover cover,
Okay. I think I remembered mostly the Hot Rod Circuit cover.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Oof.
Woof.
That hurt my feelings.
Yeah. I like that band too. That hurt.
I've never heard of that band. They sound. There was so many of those types of, like, if you had Hot in the band name, I probably mixed you up. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
That was one of those like Vagrant Records sampler bands that I had discovered via like
Being
liking
on
the Get Up
Vagrant
Kids
Records.
My mom just texted me a picture of a horse and it says, "Saw these bad boys today." What the fuck? Hell yeah, Susan Hoffman, tear that shit up.
Your mom is
just like, I fucking made friends with some horses.
My mom just sent me a picture of Madball and says, "Saw these bad boys today."
Susan Kaufman. Chains out.
Yeah, chains out, Susan.
Susan.
If you aren't now, then you never were, my mom. Okay.
Oh, God.
So, we only have a few songs left. They're all the same shit. I found out that the guys that covered Hey Ya is this band called Lorraine Drive. No one ever heard of them. No one ever will. But the singer of that band quit to do American Idol. What? Yeah, the singer of that band quit the band. And then he didn't succeed in American Idol. He, I don't know, he fucking exploded into a pile of bats. And then he joined another band that's really funny, and I have to look it up because I don't remember.
Fun fact about this Hey Ya Punk cover. The first thing Drew and I ever did together was we played in a Misfits cover band.
Yeah.
In the Lower East Side, and we were called Outcasts because famously there's a story about Outcast wanting to be called Misfits. And their manager was like, "You can't do that. There's already a band called Misfits." And they were like, "All right, what the fuck? We'll be Outcasts." So our cover band was called The Outcasts. And like the only thing was like I put on a little bow tie, and we would just like kind of go into like little Outcast blips here and there at the end of certain songs. But I remember one time I tried really hard to do a Danzig Misfits cover of Hey Ya.
Oh, yeah.
In our apartment together.
Yeah, that didn't go well. But what did go well was we would go into which song did we go
Baby by Justin Bieber.
Yeah, we would go into Justin Bieber during some kind of hate, and that was fun.
That was really funny.
Oh, and
it worked.
The guy who was in this band that left to do American Idol then got kicked off American Idol and joined Hollywood Undead.
Woo!
What is Hollywood Undead?
It's
bad.
bad.
It's bad. It's a bad time for everyone.
Oy vey.
Boy.
Yeah. Anybody have anything to say about Hey Ya?
Yeah, it's fine.
It was okay, right?
It's harmless.
Yeah,
it was harmless.
Hey Ya's pretty innocuous. Tiger's Jaw did a really fun cover of Hey Ya on AV Undercover. I really like that. Everybody's covered Hey Ya. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
The bald guy on Scrubs covered Hey Ya. I remember that.
Yeah. Okay, so Tennessee. Newfound Glory.
man.
No.
Hey, everybody, it's Newfound Glory. 4 guys, 4 divorces. What up?
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's 4 members. One of them hasn't been divorced, but Chad's been divorced twice. Moving on.
I hope whoever decided that they should do that it was okay for them to do the first verse of this song is the one who also got canceled.
The pedophile?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Now I feel bad that we made fun of them because they probably liked that guy for a little bit.
Wait. Well, someone in Newfound Glory is a pedophile? Someone
Yeah.
They kicked him out of the
They
band.
kicked him out.
someone in pop punks into underage people? Weird. Never
Yeah.
heard of that before.
Shocking.
Yeah. Wow. So much to say, especially because Arrested Development was one of those groups. They were, they were all about the native tongues movement. They were all about like the going back and stuff, and like it's just wrong on all fronts that they did this track.
Yeah. Also, to clarify, before when I made a reference to Arrested Development, I was talking about the show starring Jason Bateman and not this band. So
Right.
retroactively, if you didn't laugh at that joke, now you can laugh at it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Well done.
Thank you so much, everyone. I couldn't have done it without you. Man, Newfound Glory.
I skipped through this song because after he made reference
Yeah,
like, to
no one
Black
finished the
Heritage,
song.
I was like, do they do anything where like the song like kicks in with distorted guitars? No? Cool, fine. I get what this is.
To be fair, when I said that I listened to this album in 2008, I 100% never finished it. There's no way
You
that I
listened
heard
to
the last half of this
You
album.
listen to Set Your Goals, you listen to Still Fly, and then you shut it off.
Pretty much, yeah.
You gave the Men in Black song a whirl because you were hoping it would kick ass.
Yeah, but Newfound Glory is like the... I don't know. They're like the fucking Joseph Goebbels of this fucking cover bullshit. Like they're just all they do is
Joseph Goebbels.
they just like exist to be like everything is fine, nothing is wrong as they do terrible things. I mean, they seriously have 4 cover albums because they put out an album every year for the past 3 millennia and no one gives a shit. But the only thing that anyone ever cares about is when they do their ironic covers.
I didn't even know they were doing that.
They have 3 albums.
They're all movie covers, right?
Yeah, from your screen to your stereo.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, they cover
Like
movies?
Hit songs,
songs.
from the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, for a minute I was like, it's just Newfound Glory like doing The Dark Knight.
like scene by scene. You want to know how I got these scars?
Oh my God.
Leave me alone. Oh my God.
Pop punk
This
is-
song definitely had a asshole at an open mic kind of vibe. Acoustic guitar,
Yeah.
just ruining a song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine having that vibe for 25 years. I really hate Newfound Glory. The album, I don't know.
They also were kind of outliers on this album.
What do you mean?
I don't put them in the same school as these other bands. They're like adjacent. They're on the same tour, but they're not playing the same stage.
They're you know what they are? They're the chaperone. They're the counselors at the summer camp that is recording this album.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of one of those things where it's like it's your responsibility to show these kids, to teach these kids values.
But they're also like they're like when you go to camp and you're 12 years old and you're getting yelled at by a 16-year-old, like they're not real adults. Because Newfound Glory started making music when they were like in high school, so they're only like 2 years older than us, even though they look like they're 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's everyone in the band looks like my Doc Martens.
Arf.
Yeah. Everybody in that band looks like if you put Green Day in a microwave. Pop punk, man. I don't know. That's what I was kind of saying before, is that music that feels ironic I don't like listening to anymore, and I really find it hard to listen to a lot of pop punk. It doesn't age well. Although I do really want to see the Forever the Sickest Kids reunion, because I think it would be funny to watch a bunch of 40-year-olds say they're the sickest kids forever.
It's like when you see the Get Up Kids and none of them can like stand up like out of bed.
Yeah,
like,
when you see
on their own.
When you see the Get Up Kids and they all look like celebrity chefs and not kids. I love James so much. I love James.
I love the Get Up Kids.
I love the Get Up Kids.
Yeah, but they all look like they're gonna tell me how to fix my car instead of doing it.
God.
I love
But-
James.
I don't. James,
What have we learned, guys?
What have we learned?
What did you learn?
What we've learned is that it's already hard enough to do a rap rock song that doesn't suck. It's extremely hard to do a cover of a hip hop song when you possess no rapping talents. I guess the only way to do it good is if you would make it. If you're a super heavy band, you have to make it super heavy. There's like almost no way to cross pollinate it and make it awesome.
Yeah, I mean, on 2 minutes, the actual show, we always want to like find a way to to do hip hop stuff on the show and do it tastefully and well. Like the only opportunity we've had at it is by being Contessa's Two Toes backing band, and I think that ruled. And I think it's just you have to. It's all about finding like the right way to put the elements there. Like the best hip hop and metal collaboration is Bring the Noise with Anthrax and Public Enemy.
Yeah,
it's the right way to do it because they're, you're bringing the strengths from everything that the genre has to offer. Like it's just Anthrax is just providing a rhythm that is a crazy speed metal chart that you can't get. Creates an energy that you can't get somewhere else.
I think that's actually the right way to do a hip hop cover is to not do a hip hop cover, but to re-perform the song with the original artist.
Yeah, of
I
course.
think that because when you think about it, like it's like I don't want to say cultural appropriation, but it is a little bit to see like a pop punk band like take someone else's art form, and especially if they know that there are words in that they cannot say, to be like, well, what if we made it cute? That's bullshit.
Right.
So I think that like if you're gonna cover hip hop, welcome the artist in to do it. And even if you are a part of that, like I think if you're a singer in that band, you find a part to do it. Like you sing backup or you do something, but welcoming in the original artist is probably the only way to do it right.
Yeah, but also at the same time, not everybody can get the original artist for something. But that
that means don't do it.
That means don't do it.
That means don't do it.
There's other songs.
Yeah,
Cover other songs.
Yeah.
Hey, bud. There's other songs for you. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Get out there, man. You know what? Why would you pay for the cow when you get in the milk for free? Am I right? There's plenty of songs out there.
Yeah.
Put your lines out, bud.
Yeah, why don't you cover Take On Me? No one's ever done that before.
No one's ever done it.
No one's ever done it. It's a great song. Someone should cover it.
Someone should cover the best around. You remember that Karate Kid? Yeah. He's fighting.
Oh boy.
You know what I will say? People shit on ska, but I don't think I've ever heard a ska hip hop cover.
And if I do, I'm going to beat up the entire improv troupe.
What are you doing to us? We're going to get so many tweets about ska hip hop covers now.
I'll just delete this.
Okay.
I'll delete myself from the podcast and my own life.
Why don't we do songs and then plugs?
Favorite songs.
Because I feel like
James, what was your favorite song, man?
On this album?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good Lord. Well, I honestly probably that the main cover. Honestly, I don't know what it just seemed. It just reminded me of like something that as soon as it came on, I didn't want to skip it.
Right.
Which one was the main again? I'm sorry.
It was the I Wanna Love You.
Oh yeah.
That Akon song.
Akon. My God.
Akon.
A man who body slammed a teenager off a stage one time.
Holy shit.
Sick.
And
Really?
who has like 12 wives?
Damn.
Really? He does really want to love you, I guess.
Really?
Really? Were you so your band just real quick, because we're talking about like Maine and stuff. So you had to probably play with a lot of bands like that on Warped Tour. Were you excited to be, to just be like in the pop punk world?
I don't know. It was. I think back then it all kind of just blended together so much that at least on those Warped Tours, you know, no one really felt like it was kind of like an even ratio. There was heavy stuff happening and then pop punk stuff happening, but then you'd have like the old heads, like, you know, whoever, no effects and whatever no effects adjacent band would be headlining, but those guys were always so out of your radar because they were, you know, doing their own bullshit, and you never really saw any of those guys. And then I feel like 2 years in, then it just started getting really weird. Then I feel like it mixed too much. That's when it was like all these covers were happening, and you know, like I feel like all the genres were kind of getting just into one big mess of indecipherable bullshit. And then that was such a weird time for music. Like right at the end of that, like probably like 2007, 2008, and then going into like 2010, 2011, a lot of the like the hot bands that were just using coincidentally using 808 drum drops. And, you know, like just like taking this weird part of hip hop and then putting it into metal, like time or to heavy music. When you know, like everyone had the clean vocalist and then the growler, like it was a requisite to be a band. That's when things just got so weird to me.
It got so I remember because I've, you know, for me it's a dark period because I always, you know, clearly because of the way we work our show, we want genres to blend and go together. But then you see examples like this. You see like the 2008 and 9 era where you're like, oh, there's a dark side to this. Yeah. This can go so bad.
But also, I think, you know, something we got to keep... I hated this album. I want to make that very clear. Yes. I thought it was heinous, but like...
This might be worse than the Nightmare Before Christmas one.
No, oh my God. For me, they're... don't make me talk. One thought at a time. What I was going to say, though, is that I want to try and give a grain of kindness to as much as I fucking hated this album because, like, listen, it was a time and a place, and it was probably fun for a bunch of these kids to record these albums, you know? Yeah. And I, like, you gotta sometimes try stuff and it's not gonna work out. Like, we all as comedians know that the hard way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that is the flip side of this. While I do think this is dripping with irony and I hate it, in general, I'm sure there's tons of times that bands and people, creatives all the time, try to put themselves out there and try something new by covering something, you know, to try and challenge themselves. And it's utter dog shit. But, you know, they tried.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well said, Katie.
This is also a relic of, like, that last time period where you could play a show and not every single person filmed it on their phone. So if they've done these covers live, if it was, like, something to kind of rile up the audience, that might have actually been okay. It's the fact that this, unfortunately, was recorded, and so now we have, like, this Hammurabi's code, like, carved into the stone of fucking... awful, terrible, miserable.
Hammurabi's code, isn't that eye for an eye?
What? Oh, I'm thinking of the Rosetta Stone. My bad.
Okay.
Yeah. Again, not a smart person. Remember only a few things from high school.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And most of those things that I remember are sick breakdowns. James, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, James, thank you so much.
We love
awesome.
having you.
For those who don't know, in the audience, James is has like a brand new cool band, and he's also a stand-up comedian. Do you want to talk a little bit about your stand-up?
It's kind of like if punk went crunk, but the exact opposite of that.
Yeah, I read that on Splitsider. They said that about you.
I don't know. I've been doing it for, I don't fucking even know anymore. Like it's since, I guess probably since the last Bled show. So probably 2011, I started taking it more seriously. I'd always done goofball open mics, and I would open for my friends' metal bands, and piss off the audience by ordering a large pizza during the middle of a set and telling a bunch of jokes about telling a bunch of jokes about George W. Bush, and getting a lot of walkouts, shit like that. But I started taking it more seriously. Right after the band broke up, and then I don't know. I just started doing my own shit in Richmond. Played a couple festivals. Got made a lot of friends just through that scene, and just kind of by randomly traveling and making friends. I made a lot of friends at like comedy fests, and then just going to cities and meeting all the open mic people on like the East Coast and stuff, and then. I don't know. It's just been kind of building from that, but I don't know. Since then, I've always loved comedy and being funny, and being on stage was so natural. But I don't know. I've just been doing it for a good amount of time. Have been hosting shows and doing like a DIY thing in Richmond, because the only real options here are to go do the Funny Bone and be like a club guy, and
Yeah.
that's not where I belong. I can't bring 8-foot cardboard cutout of myself and tell jokes about, screamo to soccer moms.
Oh man!
But or can I? Maybe that's where I'm going wrong.
I think if you can't, you gotta figure out how to make it work, or else you're. I don't know. Maybe if you don't make it work, what was it all for?
Well, I mean, that's what we did. We couldn't find like an outlet for the way we wanted to do. Like comedy about music and bullshit, and that's how we built the show. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah, I mean, actually, no, I don't want to be a sycophant, but I knew that you did stand up, and that made me do stand up, and so in a weird way, you're here because you got me here, which is really cool, man.
Wow, yeah. Holy shit, man!
Yeah, dude. Thanks for being a funny guy. Also, plug your shit.
Plug your shit. Tell us about your band.
The new band's called X'd Out. So it's a bunch of guys taking a hardcore straight edge band's name, pretty much, and playing. A youngster told me that it sounds like the Menzingers had a child with Off With Their Heads.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh, that's good.
That's also like feasibly possible because the Menzingers are very old.
There you go. So, but yeah, I don't know. I'm excited. We're going to record in July. Hopefully we'll have some shit up, by the end of the summer, and we're playing some shows in Richmond for the time being. Who knows? But I don't know. It's exciting to be playing music again. There's a lot less pressure. It's not like this is my career. I'm just we're taking it at our own pace. There's really nothing else going on to affect us and steer the record in some way and shit. It's just we have a lot of control over it, and it's fun again. And I'm actually having fun playing music again, and it's been like almost 10 years, so I'm stoked on it.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, dude. We'll definitely share that when you
Yeah.
And
where can people find you on the Twitter and the Instagram?
There's an X'd Out Instagram. It's XED out, and then there's a Facebook also. If you can like us on Facebook, and then find out when we're putting out music and stuff like that. But I think that's the best way for now. You could follow me on all social media. My shit's just my name, James Isaiah Muñoz.
Yeah. Love it.
But yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for being here.
Follow
awesome
James at Jerry Margaret.
Thank you for giving us some legitimacy on this podcast.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Thanks for doing this, dude.
God bless y'all, boys and girl. Adios.
Thanks, man.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you guys.
Nice to meet
you guys
you.
fucking rule.
Have fun at the library.
Bye. Stay safe.
And there goes James running away.
You can find me at Twitter at Katie Rose or Instagram at Oh Hello Katie Rose. Hey guys, do you like niche entertainment? I know you do. I will be a judge on this year's air guitar competition at this Wednesday, the 26th, at our home, St. Vitus. You like guitars? Maybe you like drag. Air guitar seems like drag for straight people, and I'm here for it. I'll be judging with our friends Rob Pasbani from Metal Injection and some guy called Sean the Butcher.
Sean
He's
the
either
Butcher.
a great wrestler or a great butcher. And either way, yes.
I
Yeah.
served 10 years with Sean the Butcher at Rikers. Let me tell you, solid dude will kill anybody.
So please come out to that. I think it'll be super fun. We're going to get crunk. Punk Goes Crunk. And also check out my other podcast about anime. I'm sorry. Balling Out Super.
Hey, what's up? This is Drew Kaufman. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at diet_Hellboy. You can also follow my photography account, Drew Kaufman Photography, and posting stuff that isn't Japan lately. But don't worry, there's plenty of Japanese photos to come. Also, I used to write a column on Metal Injection called 2019, and then I stopped writing it because it gave me existential dread. Maybe I'll explain why I stopped doing it one day, but until then, I did write something about the Bled. You should check it out. They're one of my favorite bands. Having James here was really, really cool.
And I'm Jordan Olds. Follow my dog on Instagram at Great Hambino. That otherwise leave me alone. No, you can't do that.
You can do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just do it.
All right. Please donate to our Patreon, honorableswords.com. We have a sketch coming out later this week. Or no, wait, is the sketch coming out tomorrow?
I have no idea.
The sketch is coming out.
There's going to be a sketch.
All right.
Sketch Claus is coming this week, month.
Okay. Donate to our Patreon at Honorable
Swords.
Arnold Swords. Donate to Honorable Swords.
Arnold Swords.
Help the swords. They're
Do
very
it.
sick. Help these sick swords. Also, just donate to help our show. We're going to be putting out a sketch this week. We are just also going to be putting out some other videos. We're going to be at Psycho Vegas this year. It's very
Woo!
cool. We're going to be the last thing that happens there. So please, come check it out. You won't have to miss, Opath or anybody. It'll be really cool. And then we're going to be at Fest this year in October. We're going to be kicking things off at Fest. It'll be really fun. It's going to be summer camp themed.
Come see us.
Please come hang out with us. Also follow my dog on Instagram at Great Hambino. Otherwise, leave me alone. Goodbye.
Bemis.
Bye.
Bemis.